So Keith One Time Thurman finally returns, and he was on Fighthub TV. Salute to Marco Villegas and Fighthub TV. Keith Thurman returns, and he gives his thoughts on the Spence Crawford fight. When is he going to be returning, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, one thing about Keith Thurman, he gets asked a direct question, and he goes off into this boy. But Keith One Time Thurman, he seemed humbled, right? Is the word I'm looking for. He seemed humbled because some time ago he seemed very boisterous that he was going to be getting that Spence fight, despite what Errol Spence was telling everybody in the public, right? Keith One Time Thurman gets asked about the Spence Crawford fight and what's next for him.
Hey, is that what you're doing right now?
Yeah, we don't have our date announced, but I know it's all in the works. You know, we got this big pay-per-view coming up, but I know me and Al will be talking shortly, and there'll be announcements hitting because your boys got to get back this summer. We got caught up in a little bit of a political stanza, but you know, I'm still happy to be here. You know, because at the end of the day, man, we wish to be at the top. You get at the top, things get a little political, but you know, everything's a blessing in disguise at the end of the day, man. You know, to be where I'm at, to have the legacy that I have, and what I bring into the welterweight division, into the sport of boxing, has always been beautiful.
See,
as I continue to train and get ready.
Yeah, man, I got a lot of questions for you in regards to your return and you just being caught up in the whole back and forth negotiations.
Now, what Marco was trying to do is get a lot out of him about the Spencer Crawford thing. Keith Thurman was really trying to evade those questions.
Not only a potential fight that you could have had with Errol Spence, but this whole Spence Crawford thing that finally got made official. First on that, are you going to be on the card, or do you expect yourself to be on this Spence versus Crawford card?
Nah, you know, I've been a main event fighter for way too long. And it's just the way boxing is today. I mean, when's the last time they stacked a card like that?
And he got a point. Keith Thurman is a main event fighter, so it'll be hard pressed to see them, you know, put a guy like Keith Thurman as a co-main event. Now, they could have did a fight with him and Ugas, but they would have had to cough up a lot more money to get this thing going, right? And yeah, Keith Thurman, from this point, he kind of goes on a tangent about, I don't know, but
criticize, okay? Even though people do criticize, they do talk about it. I know it through and through. The big, the sweet, the ugly, the sour. It is what it is, man. And I love boxing for what it is. And it's still my dream. So many people enjoy it, and I'm just happy to be a part of this beautiful sport. And it's not over, you know.
See, for him, Keith Thurman fought a couple of times in the past 6 years, right? For him to be so inactive, he seems a little bit too happy, if you ask me.
To be grateful and just like I said, happy to be here, man. Every time I'm in the ring, every time I'm in the gym, man, Keith Thurman's living his dream, you know. So I'm a happy individual with that.
So he's just happy, just training in the gym. He seems a lot more humble this interview than he did his last interview. That's what I got from this one. He seems a lot more humble this go round. Let's see what else more he had to say.
I know when I last spoke to you, you had told me that you were the backup for Errol Spence, and it looked like we were going in that direction. That you were going to get that fight.
About the Spence.
And then, you know, months, weeks went by, and then we got the announcement that Spence and Crawford had been made. I know, coming from your side, I guess, you know, how was all that? What happened on your end?
I mean, nothing on my end. You know, they wanted to make the biggest fight possible for the sport of boxing. Nothing on my end. I'm a yes man. You know, I'm two-time former champion of the world.
You're a team player.
You know, two-time champion of the world. You know, I'm looking for that title contention once again. You know, when champions fight champions, contenders have to sit on the sidelines. You know, and that's just the way it is right now. So it's very difficult, and there's a lot of tremendous talent in the.
Yeah, there is some tremendous talent. Jerron Boots Ennis is out here looking for the smoke. Who out here making waves? Why aren't you fighting him? Your Dennis Ugas is without an opponent. How come you can't make a fight with him? You both fought Manny Pacquiao. He just so happened to beat Manny Pacquiao. How about you go ahead and fight Dennis Ugas? I mean, Keith Thurman what is he sitting around waiting for? He's 34 years old. He's not getting any younger. He's probably the most inactive fighter at welterweight with the name. I mean, come on, Keith.
Welterweight division, but boxing's been criticized for not making the big fights happen. So, it's like the fighter in me knows what I want. The Spence fight, the political boxing supporter in me knows this is one of the biggest matchups of the year, and that it had to be done.
That's right.
Of course, in the meantime, from last year when I competed, Thurman could have got in with Crawford. Thurman could have got in with Spence, but
So what happened? If you could have got in with him, what happened? If you could have got in with Crawford, what happened? And Crawford was doing business with BLK Prime. How come you didn't say, how come I can't get that 10 million? Have a reason and got to fight Crawford? What was you at, Keith? And now you about to be out for another 2 years, it's looking like. Now he says he's returning in August. We don't know who he's going to return against. One would imagine it's not going to be anybody with a name, even though he's talking good right here in this interview. He's talking really good, like he wants to make the big fights, but Sean Porter's retired. Danny Garcia moved up to 154 pounds. So what's left, right? Crawford and Spence is making the biggest fight in boxing. So what is there left for Keith Thurman to do? Well, that's to stand at that front gate and make sure guys like Jerron Boots Ennis and Stanionis and Virgil Ortiz don't get through. That's what Keith Thurman is going to do. Now, I'm not saying he should be a gatekeeper, but what else is he going to do in the meantime until this smoke clears with Crawford and Spence? All three of those guys, Thurman, Spence, and Crawford, can go up to 154 pounds and fight each other if they want it. So Keith Thurman, what is he going to do in the meantime, right? You want to return, if you are to return in August, you want to fight somebody with a pulse, right? You don't want to come back and fight a guy that nobody want to see you fight against, and then you put up a mediocre to lackluster performance, and come on, man.
At the top, they can take time in between fights because they're negotiating big fights. Negotiating big fights, big paydays, making that road, building those bricks up, so that when they, at the end of the day, they have their journey, they have their path, and eventually we're all going to have to walk away. We've already seen great fighters like Sean Porter get out, and there's we don't know how long Spence is going to stay in the game. We don't know how long Crawford's going to stay in the game. People question how long Thurman's going to be in the game. Is he really still a fighter? There's a lot, man. But my heart is in this. I want to do it till I really can't do it no more.
And I want to see Keith Thurman in action, right? I want to see him in action. But what's the holdup? There's guys to fight. Boots Ennis is a fight that could be made. That's a really good fight for both guys to see if Keith Thurman's still a championship level at the top, right? If he beats a guy like Boots, and it'll be a fight for Boots to see if he's at that level, right? To beat a former world champion to Keith one-time Thurman. I mean, that's the fight really to make. If not that, you're Dennis Ugas. I don't see really what's going on with Keith Thurman. But yeah, you guys, Keith Thurman, you got to check out the interview on Fighthub. Salute to Fighthub TV. Marco asks him, he'll ask a direct question, and Keith Thurman will go on this long tangent about everything else. But you guys need to go check out the full interview for yourselves. My thoughts on it: Keith one-time Thurman needs to get his ass back to the ring, and it's just that simple. Like, subscribe, holla at your boy. Peace out.